There's an Ethiopian guy who was interviewed in Newsroom Africa, whereby he was being asked about the processes of registering businesses. This is on national TV, by the way, in the midst of all this chaotic fight whereby South Africans are fighting foreigners about spaza shops, this and that, in the that. This guy is interviewed on national TV and is defending foreigners, and he wants foreigners to continue operating spaza shop, but is also demanding more time from the government for them to expand the date, because 21 days is not enough. They must expand more so that they can have more time to properly register the tax shops, the businesses, and the spaza shops, so they can be in the business legally with all the documents, because 21 days is not enough. If you don't believe me, listen to this.
So we speak now to Dr. Fikri Daniel from Anga Association, and an organization that represents foreign spaza shop owners. Dr. Daniel, good evening to you.
Good evening, Anadi.
Thank you so much for joining us. The Friday deadline is looming.
Yep.
The clock is ticking. Talk to me about where your organization stands around whether or not that deadline will be met.
Yeah, thank you, Naredi, for having me on your program. Yep. Since the day we heard this news, we have been trying to fulfill all the documents required. We have been trying to get all the documents. As you know, it's a very good move from the president and from the government of South Africa. We really embrace the program. However, there has been lots of things that were so hard for us to get, especially the documents required. Most of them are hard to find at all. And the time limit is so short, 21 days to give something that you have never had. 21 days, you have to know that the business remains to be there. The kids need to get the bread, moms need to get those things they get from the shop. So this shop owners need to run the business as usual. And along doing this, they are now told to register. We actually like the initiative, the program, because this will give us a confidence so that we can tell our customers that we are registered. Whenever we say, let us have this thing, we are not overlooking the thing, because this is about the law, this is about health. This also gives us further opportunities from the government. However, the time, it ticked from the moment that the president told us to do so. But
100%. Talk to me about the documents that are hardest for some of your members to attain.
Yeah, as I have told you, the document starts from affidavit. There should be an affidavit where the owner will state that he won't sell anything bad or something illegal on the shop. He needs to get a proof of address indicating the specific address of the shop, which is not hard to get. It's something that you can get from SAPS or South African Police Services Office. The other ones, the one that's so hard to get is the document. Among the documents, one is South African ID, which most of foreigners do not obtain. Asylum seeker paper, which is the issues that had been sought out for us. Because, the situation called the Catch 2022. Let me explain what this thing is. Catch 22 is a scenario where when you come to an office to get unemployed, to be employed, the company will tell you to have 10 years experience. Okay? You are a fresh graduate. You have never been to an office. You have never been employed. You are required to have a 10 years experience.
Yes, I understand, yeah.
When you go there, you cannot have an experience unless you are employed. An employer asks you for experience. The experience will only be obtained after getting employed. So It's what we call Catch-22.
So explain the Catch-22 then for spaza shops.
Yes. The government of South Africa is requiring us to present a document called asylum seeker. This document hadn't been granted since 2018. And those who have the document, they have been trying to renew it, but it's stuck, especially since the 2020 COVID issue. There were backlogs at the Department of Home Affairs, which everyone knows. So now, one of the documents that has to be submitted for the review is asylum seeker paper, which is not granted since 2018.
Yeah, but here's the challenge now, Dr. Daniel, and this is where it gets, I suppose, incredibly difficult, because you can certainly speak about the backlog with the Department of Home Affairs in issuing identity documents and asylum seeker documents and all of those sort of permits. But there is, of course, the fact that if those documents are not in place, then one could easily argue that then you have people that are in the country illegally and operating businesses even though they should not be in the country because their status of being in the country is illegal. I mean, so just where the authorities look at it, surely immediately there's the view that you've got to deal with the crime first, yes?
Yeah, by the way, I don't agree with the word illegal. We call it undocumented. Illegal, it is something you will be leveled after passing through issues like, I may not be illegal, I may be undocumented, which is something that human rights associations could tell you further. So, now, I'm not saying that people should not abide to the rules and regulations of the countries they live in. Yep. But the thing is, among the list of the documents, people who are in South Africa for years haven't been granted or the renewal has been delayed. So I was here for years. I have been applying every time. A renewal has stuck. Now I'm being required to present a document that's at the Department of Home Affairs. How would my registration go on? Yeah, that's the problem. I understand what you have said. I understood it. We don't mean that we don't need to comply with the regulations. We do. We don't really encourage any illegal acts. Not in South Africa, anywhere in the world. Because illegality is what everyone should refuse.
Yeah. We've got a lot to talk about, you and I. So there's the issue of the documentation. What do you make of the issue that's been raised by some authorities that South African individuals may be registering these puzzle shops on behalf of foreign nationals? What do you make of that?
For that matter, I have no evidence about it. I also read those news as you did from different news rooms, but I have no idea about it.
Do you think it's right?
I can't comment on it.
Yeah, do you think it's right?
So, I don't know. Every time, everywhere, laws have to be abided. So if the government says don't do it, it should not be done. That's what I can say. So I don't say when Mr. X does something, it's right. When Mr. Y does it, it's wrong. No, I don't. Whoever do it, if it is found to be wrong, it should be recorded as wrong. So I can't comment on it because I have no evidence about it.
I mean, at the heart of this issue around spaza shops, really what was being dealt with here is the children whose lives were lost as a result of foods that were bought at various spaza shops. The Department of Health also talking about a chemical that has been found in some of these post-mortems, turbifos as well as organophosphate, some of the sort of pesticides that have been looked at by authorities. As an association of spaza shop owners that are run by foreign nationals, have you done an investigation as to where these chemicals are coming from? What happens in the supply chain? At what point do you get turbifos and organophosphate brought into a shop and into the food? What's your understanding there?
As you know, the president also indicated that there is nothing that indicates that this is only found in foreign-owned shops.
100%.
We have said that it's in shops, so I cannot defend this. However, we believe that there should be a situation where people could pick something from the shop and that should not affect their health whatsoever that in. Because, on my way to you, I went into one shop, I picked something, I ate it. Imagine if that's something that hurts my medical situation, my health. So that we always believe that we have to be on the shoes of the other. The same way our customers come to our shops, we also go to someone's shop. So we don't do that. And we have been saying this in our different social gatherings. We have been telling or educating our people to keep the sanitation, to keep the shops clean enough so that our customers, because customers are giving us money, we should not give them something that hurts them. We never do that.
Yeah. So, but where do you think the chemical comes from?
So hard for me to tell you the exact answer.